All right. Well, welcome to those of you that have just joined me. And it is a really interesting times going on here in the world, but I am happy to be your host today for this webinar. We're going to talk about video marketing and top tech and apps. My name is Michelle Hoyt, and I am a regional trainer for RE/MAX INTEGRA. I am located in the US. However, I've gotten to know a lot of you virtually, and I'm really happy to, like I said, be your host today. And as you can see behind me, we are all in this together here at RE/MAX. So we are at home together, we are working, and I'm located in Chicago, which has unfortunately quite a few cases here, but I'm making sure to stay in touch with my family and friends, and I hope all of you are doing well, and we're all going to get through this. So I'm really thrilled to get going. Diane has verified for me that you can see my screen and you can see me and you can hear me okay. This is being recorded, and like I said, we'll take the next hour to go through video marketing for real estate, and we're going to talk about some tech and apps, which I think you'll find very interesting. So let's go ahead and get started, because I want to make sure, by the way, you are on a webinar, so you're in listen-only mode. So if you hover over the bottom of the screen, your toolbar will show you a Q&A box. There's also a chat box. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, I will be sure to monitor those and make sure that you can see those. I actually need to make sure that I shared my computer sound because I have videos to show you, and I just did. Let's see. Oh, actually, I might be okay with sound. So I might need you to verify that. So one of the things about video, especially in real estate, is first of all, it does allow for that human connection. You know, you're seeing me right now, and I'm located in the Midwest in the US, but yet I'm still broadcasting to you live, and I'm bringing you some educational content. So we know the power of video. We know that's important. In fact, we've been doing all of our webinars like this on camera, which because we want to stay connected to you. And let me know if you're using video with your clients now more than ever, such as FaceTime or Skype or Google Hangout. There's so many different options. And there's a lot of, as I'm sure you've heard, especially in the US, there's agents doing showings virtually right now because it's the only way that is going to make everyone feel most comfortable. So we're really utilizing video in a big way. If you've not done so already, please take note of this book that I'm showing on the screen right now, In Order Rehumanized. A lot of you know what BombBomb is. It's video email. And this is a book that was written by the founders of BombBomb. And I think you'll find it really, really interesting. It really talks about how rehumanizing yourself and rehumanizing the business world is really going to be key as we move forward in communications. So I just wanted to kind of mention that. This is a quote directly from the book. It just means that we're restoring that face-to-face. Remember, our business in real estate is a relationship business, and video is really going to help with that. So try to definitely get that book. So what is video supposed to do? And every time you see a video, don't you feel one of these emotions? You know, hopefully not anger too much, but we've all experienced that. But really what you want to do is to do just that. You want to give people an experience when it comes to video. So I want to show you this video here. Let me know that you can hear the sound okay. I wanted to make sure I'm able to share the sound with you. So let's take a look at, this is an agent of ours in Minnesota, and he's done a really good job of kind of illustrating what some of the things are about his area and why someone should move there. So let me know you can hear this okay.
Hello, Brian Stites with RE/MAX Results and the Twin Cities Real Estate Guide. Today, we're going to be talking about relocating to beautiful Minnesota. If this is your first time checking out our channel, what you want to do is go ahead and subscribe down below, and then pro tip, go ahead and hit the bell. We put out some great video content each and every week, and when you hit that bell, you're going to be notified when we do so. So, relocating to Minnesota, I get a lot of people ask questions like, does it snow here all the time? And how in the heck do you guys drive in the snow? How about, does everybody live on the water and own a boat? Or if I don't fish, will I be ostracized? We're going to answer all those questions and more, and we're going to get started right now. So let's go. All right, so here's the answers to the questions. The answer is no. Wait till July. The next answer is snow tires, salt, and a lot of luck. And you don't have to, but it's a good idea. And lastly, maybe. But really, you're here to learn about moving to Minnesota, and we have got a lot of great things to offer. Let's check them out. Well, Minnesota has a lot to boast about, including 19 of the Fortune 500 companies. Companies like United Health Group, Best Buy, 3M, and Medtronic, just to name a few. You're looking for...
So in the interest of time, I'll stop that. But he goes on to even talk about the schools in the area using the school logos and things like that. So his name is Brian Stites. He's with Remax Results in the Minneapolis area. You should definitely look him up. I know he would more than welcome you to talk to him about video. He's been doing quite a bit of it. He's obviously very comfortable with it, but it's also, like I said, what he had a really good engagement on putting this on YouTube. Notice the name of the video is Moving to Minnesota. It doesn't say Remax, although it does say that on his channel. It doesn't say real estate. It just says Moving to Minnesota. He actually got 27 engagements, which is a lot for a YouTube video. He actually had a couple of people ask him that they were considering on moving to Minnesota. One person from Florida that he started working with as a potential buyer. So just by naming the video and just putting it out there so that this is the type of video you can get a lot of shelf life out of, right? So you can use this for more than just once, which is good. So I've heard this a lot in my training classes. I'm sure a lot of you have thought this. When I first started doing video, I thought the same thing. But these are just some of the things that you may be thinking when it comes to not doing video. It may feel really awkward. It may feel uncomfortable. And like I said, I started somewhere too. And here I am standing here talking to hundreds of you in Canada from a little video camera right here in my living room. So there's just so much you can do with video, and all you have to do is just hit record and do your very first one. So just know that your peers feel the same way as you. You're not in this alone, but you can do it. So what we're going to cover really quickly here, we're going to get into why you're going to use video. I think you all know why, but it's a matter of just doing it. Just some do's and don'ts. That's really important when it comes to video. And just, of course, a lot of the tools and gadgets that are out there. So one of the things that I get to do, and a lot of you have done, is attended the R4 Remax convention in Vegas, and they have been having a video summit, usually on the Monday in the afternoon, held by two of your fellow Canadians, Jesse Peters and Michael Thorne. And what they do is they bring in Remax rock stars and video and some of the things that they're doing. So I'll just play you a little clip of Tracy Thompson, who is a Remax agent, an INTEGRA agent in Wisconsin, and I'll just show you a little bit of what she did.
First video that I did was at our school because I'm very passionate about our school district, and I went to my son's elementary school and I did a 2-minute video. I try to keep all of my videos 2 minutes or less, and you just saw what I do. And then with that, when I posted it on Facebook, then you can just imagine, right? The school district sees it and they get all jazzed about it and proud of it, and they post it. And the teachers and the janitors that I named off are proud of it, and they repost it. And then their moms reposted, so it just builds and builds.
So what Tracy did is she actually took the challenge. There's a challenge out there called 30 and 30, where you record 30 of your favorite things about your area in 30 days, and you post every single day on Facebook of what your favorite 30 things are about your area in those 30 days. Now, it could take you 60 days to film it by the time you edit and everything else, but then get them ready and then you can post a new one every day. What she did is she actually chose her son's elementary school as one of her first favorite place. And she mentioned teachers' names, she mentioned the janitor, she mentioned like everybody that is involved in educating her son. And it went over really, really well. And she got a ton of shares and literally thousands of engagement in her community, which is actually a very small town in Wisconsin. She's in Sauk City. So I just kind of wanted to let you know what she did. Here's something else that she did. She got out in the community and she actually talks to merchants and allows them to be featured, and it gives them free promotion.
Hey guys, it's Tracy Thompson with Remax Grand. I am here with Haley Giesecke. All right, you guys, I have a few questions, so bear with me. The first question is, have you ever been on social media and seen everybody have those sign parties where they're making crafts together? My next question is, have you ever wanted to have one of those and think to yourself, man, I don't have enough buddies to get together and do something like that? And thought, well, I wish somebody would open up a shop that I could just come in and make my own project regardless of a group or not. My last question is, are you looking for someplace local where you can walk in and maybe have a custom designed project made? Well, I am here to tell you, we have an exciting new store opening in Prairie du Sac. Haley, can you tell us about your new store?
Yeah, I am a resident of Sauk City, and we moved here a few years ago. And I started out with creating custom signs for people to use for their own home or as gifts for other people. And we're excited to open a studio space in Prairie du Sac so people can have those workshops where they can make those together, or they can still have me create them for them if they're looking for a custom design.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about these group parties that people can have.
Okay, so just wanted you to get a good feeling for that. As you can see, you can get out in your local neighborhood. Maybe not right now, I know it's interesting times, but soon, or virtually even, but it's a great way to give them free promotion. And you'll notice this video right here, she got 3,600 views right after she posted it. What you do is when you're gonna do something like this, you obviously wanna get the merchant on camera. They'll love talking about themselves and their business, but then tag them so then their page also gets that recognition. And as you can see, there's comments, there's shares, there's 34 shares and 16 comments on this video, just by going out and featuring those local businesses or some of your favorite places that you normally go, and it's a good way to go. So here's some key takeaways that I got. This was from the summit last year. They did have one this year too, that I thought was really interesting, is to give yourself that permission to make mistakes. You're going to. In fact, you're going to look back on your very first couple of videos and go, wow, I wasn't very good, and then you're going to be just a pro at it before you know it. Your goal should be just to do things in one take and get them out there. So it will happen, so just know that that's okay. Really what's interesting is people want to talk about what's important to them. So when you're doing video, you're interviewing someone, it's important that we don't push our own agenda, right? Although, you know, of course, you're going to take the lead in most situations, but you want them to, like in that case, Haley was talking about her business, her signs, and you could tell she was just really excited. I'm sure it was the first time ever she's been on video in that way, and Tracy got her to do it. So this is something that's interesting too. Now, Tracy did something interesting at the beginning of the video. I don't know if you noticed. She actually asked a couple of questions. She said, I've got a couple of questions for you. Have you ever been on Facebook and saw where they were doing these parties where they paint signs? So she asked a question. That's actually a best practice that's taught in video boot camp by the two that I mentioned, Michael Thorne and Jesse Peters. And it's actually a really interesting way to open up your video. You want to get people's attention. Obviously, the shorter the video, the better. But in this case, she did get our attention. And she starts a lot of her listing videos that way. She'll say, have you ever wanted to escape from the city and get out to a resort on a lake? Well, I've got the listing for you. And that's what she does. Tracy's really good at it. And by the way, she's still just 5 years in the business. She had a corporate career before that. So she's definitely out there and created a personality for herself. Without having the 20 years or so experience in real estate, she's been able to build a really solid reputation for herself, and it's really paying off in her business. She made platinum this year. So just want to let you know this is really good for her. So it's important that you understand that videos are kind of long-term payoff when it comes to lead generation. So don't expect a flood of leads to come in right away. It's going to be consistent. It's going to be about making sure that you're branding yourself and promoting yourself. And again, you're going to make mistakes. It's actually funnier and more engaging and authentic when you do. And you're going to be able to really, like I said, look back on those, and you're just going to get better and better at it. But be yourself and be on video. So there's a lot of different ways you can do video. Some of you, like I said, might be really nervous about being on camera like this, but you can actually be behind the camera. Some of you might not be comfortable with that. So you can actually record segments of your listings or your area and just do a voiceover in the background, or you can add your voiceover afterwards. So, and any combination of these, but just to let you know, don't feel like you have to always be on camera and be that news anchor type personality. So when it comes to voiceover or adding audio, even music after the fact, these are just some of the apps and tips. And by the way, you'll get a copy of these slides, but these are just some of the things that are out there for both Android and iPhone. And some of these you may have heard of, some of these you might want to look up. And I guarantee you there's plenty that I missed, because every single day there's new video or audio apps that are being added. So let's take a look at another option when it comes to video. Oh, it didn't play. Let's see if I can show this to you. There we go. So what I'm showing you right now is a tool called Scrolla, S-C-R-O-L-A, Scrolla. Did you notice how the video It was just one video and it showed a page like you were scrolling down the page. So SCROLA, scrolla.com. You can sign up for free for the basic version. And that's exactly what I did with this. I went on remax.com, in your case would be remax.ca, and you can actually capture a video of the page as it's scrolling. So I think you'll find that pretty interesting. So again, it's right here in the bottom called Scrolla. See what you think of it. So let's talk about what makes for really good videos. So when it comes to YouTube especially, it's really important that you have branding all over your videos. Really utilize, I mean, Remax dominates Canada, so make sure you have your brokerage logo, your Remax, whatever the name of your brokerage logo is, make sure you have that on your videos. It's important. You want to have that attention-grabbing intro. Remember I talked about asking a question? So ask that question, come right out of the gate with that, and just really get people's attention, and that's going to get them hooked and make them want to stay. It is good to have some background music. So if you're talking the whole time, especially if you're in an empty room and there's an echo, it just doesn't have the same energy as if you were to add some background music. So I want you to think about that. YouTube Editor actually has stock music you can use. They won't come after you for copyright infringement or anything like that. So, but don't use popular music. I want to make sure that's very clear. Don't use major world artists or anything that you would hear on the radio. Don't do that because you can get in trouble for that. You won't have permission to use that music. Also, just making sure the sound is good. Sometimes you can play around with the video part of it, but if the sound isn't good or it doesn't get captured, you could supposedly go in and do some voiceover afterwards, but you just want to make sure it's nice and clear. As you get better at this, especially if you're doing video outdoors, you're going to learn the tips and tricks, especially when you're recording with wind in the background, because I've learned the hard way too. And you just want to make sure that there's always a call to action on your videos. What that means is whether it's a listing video, whether it's a community video, make sure your contact information is at the end so that people know how to get a hold of you and they can reach out or just say, subscribe to our channel or contact me to learn more today and provide your contact information. So I want to show you this video. This is a Remax team in Northwest Indiana that has done a phenomenal job with video, but they're really big advocates of the Remax balloon. And I just want to show you this recent video that they did.
So this is what it looks like inside the hot air balloon just before it flies. We're getting it ready, filling it with air. It's already had some hot air in it. Check it out, I got Rachel's on the other
side. Are you ready to see the Remax balloon fly?
Now you can. This summer, we'll be flying the world-famous 7-story Remax balloon. Hi, I'm Realtor Bill Court with Remax Realty Associates. My wife, Rachel Court, and I have been putting sold signs in yards all over Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for over 25 years. We'd like to invite you to see the world-famous Remax balloon take flight. We're flying the balloon on Saturday, July 21st at Munster's Grape Escape Wine and Music Festival. The balloon will fly at dusk. We'll be getting set up for the balloon about 6 o'clock.
Also at this event, we will be hosting a Christmas in July for the Children's Miracle Network. Remax has been a proud sponsor of Children's Miracle Network for many, many years, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to get donations of toys, arts and crafts, art supplies, crayons, anything that you can think of that would help the families and the children who are in the hospital over the summer.
We hope you can make it. I'm sure we'll have a great day.
Hopefully it'll be a great day, and hope to see you there.
I didn't get my new heart.
So I hope you like that one. Let me know. I'm one of my favorites. They did a fantastic job. Now, obviously, as you can see, there's some branding inconsistencies because the balloon hadn't changed over to the new logo yet, even though on their graphics it is the new logo. But it's a really great video. So just so you know, Bill did his own editing. So if you're wondering like, wow, I don't have a professional video crew to help me with this. But what they did is they did a lot of their own footage. He does have an actual Sony HD camera. It's actually a 4K camera that he uses. So he had help and people recording, and then he did put it together. He did add those segments together. So Bill has taken the time to learn editing. He did not outsource this. He spent hours and hours on it. He did say if he had to do it again, and he will do it again, that he will outsource it though, because it took a lot of his time away from his business. So there's going to be opportunities to do that. This was a special promotional video to promote when the balloon was going to appear. And as you all know, balloons can't always fly because the conditions have to be just perfect. So he put it out there, and unfortunately the weather didn't cooperate, but they were still able to have the balloon there, just not fly it. But again, I just wanted you to show that. Here's another one. This agent, his name is Chris Thiel, and he is actually in Florida. And he is fantastic. So you will find him on social media. You should follow him and connect with him. But he makes a lot of his listing videos look like movie trailers. So I'll show you what this looks like. Oops, sorry. Let's press play on that one. One of my favorites. I love how it says produced by Chris Thiel, directed by Chris Thiel, starring Chris Thiel. So those are all really good. So again, he's got all kinds of graphics. He's got his call to action and his contact information at the very end. So like I said, check out Chris on social media. He's fantastic. He's a great personality too. And he does a lot of amazing things with video. So speaking of video, there is a Facebook group. If you haven't joined yet, it's called Remax Play. And this is only Remaxers that are doing all kinds of things in video. In fact, you can just get started and post your first video there and ask for some constructive criticism if you want to. And they will. Everybody's really, really nice and helpful. You can even ask questions like, hey, what kind of tripod is everyone using? Or are you using green screen? Or can I get some advice on just getting started? And what is everyone using for drones? But you can ask advice, you can get tips. You can post some of your own, but you will find some really exciting things happening here. Again, it's only Remax members in the Remax network that are part of this group from all over the world, actually. And please join today. They will ask you a few questions to verify that you are with Remax indeed, but I want you to join and learn. And if you don't want to post anything, that's okay. Just watch and learn what everyone else is doing. So speaking of Chris Thiel, so one of the other things you could do with video is self-promotion. And when it comes to that, so here's what Chris is doing. So he actually did similar to the 30 and 30 challenges I mentioned to some of you earlier, where you go out in the community and you record 30 of your favorite things and you post a video every 30 days. So he did something to that effect. So here's sort of a promotional piece for him in his own business. And we'll take a look at this. Now that was most likely professionally produced, and it's a self-promotion video for him. So not always going to necessarily have that component of it, but he does some speaking, as you can see. So that's something he can use over and over again for probably a couple of years. He doesn't need to change it. Here's another one that he did. So this is just a real simple video, and he was just talking about here in the US, as I'm sure a lot of you know, March Madness is a big thing with college basketball. So he's talking about the best bars where to go watch the games, although it was canceled this year, which is still so weird. But here's what he did with this.
Hey guys, it's Chris Steele, and March Madness is in full effect. So on this episode, I'm going to break down the top 3 sports bars to watch the game. Woo! Just going to leave it up here.
I'm gonna leave it up here.
So here we go. I posted a couple of Facebook groups, as well as I looked at places like TripAdvisor as well as Yelp to find out what the best places are in Stewart and Jensen Beach. And here are the top 3. So coming in at number 3 is Buffalo Wild Wings down here in Jensen Beach. TVs everywhere, great place to watch the game. Food prices are anywhere from $8 to $30. Tons of beers on tap. Buffalo Wild Wings, number 3. At number 2, we have Miller's Ale House once again in Jensen Beach. They have over 75 beers on tap, and I think it's something like 70 flat screen TVs out there. They have casual dining as well as bar food. Miller's Ale House, number 2. So here we go with the number 1 place to watch March Madness. It is Duffy's Sports Grill down in Stewart. Once again, tons of TVs everywhere, great selection of casual dining as well as bar food, great beer selection, and with a slogan like "Our game is always on," there's no reason or no question why Duffy's Sports Grill is number 1 to watch March Madness. Here we go. Boom. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and to keep watching right now, I'm going to show you how this 5'6" man is going to dunk on a regulation style hoop. Here we go. Who am I kidding? It's not regulate.
Obviously, he's a character. I just enjoy his videos so much. Like I said, hopefully you see it. And finally, he did 22 favorite places. So again, if you think recording 30 of your favorite things in 30 days is really aggressive, it might be for you. Maybe you do 10 and 10 or 5 and 5 or whatever seems reasonable for you. But he did 22, and he did a dog park on this one. And like I said, you'll get a copy of these slides too.
Hey guys, it's Chris Steele here with Remax of Stewart, and this is stop number 5 on my video series, 22 of my favorite places here in Martin County. And so far in the video tour, we've talked about all of our friends and family members who have 2 legs, but there's a lot of us out there that have family members that have 4 legs. So I'm standing here on the beach access to one of the dog-friendliest parks out here. It is Walton Rocks Beach Park. This park is established on 26 acres that you can go ahead and bring Fido, bring Rex, and have all the beach activities that you would enjoy with your 2-legged family, with your 4-legged family as well. Also, in addition to all of that, they also have the regular amenities that you would see at a normal beach. They have the beach pavilions, they have restrooms, there's fishing out there, there's swimming, boogie boarding, all kinds of things. The only difference is you can bring your 4-legged friends. It's a very dog-friendly park. The one thing that we ask is please, please, please make sure you clean up after your dog. So, stop number 5 on my 22 of my favorite places here in Martin County is Walton Rocks Beach Park.
So again, he does a really nice job using graphics and captions and things like that for sure. So I'm kind of just checking to see if there's any questions. Feel free to ask questions if you want. I'm going to keep moving through because I have a lot to show you. So let's talk about the don'ts of doing video in your business, because there's quite a few. And by the way, I just want to mention really quick on that video that Chris did about the basketball with the bars and he recommended and what have you, you'll notice that he was talking all about the community. He wasn't pushing real estate or himself, but he was wearing a Remax shirt, which is very effective. And in that case, nothing needs to be said. So there's ways to go about this. This is one of the things that I really can't believe people haven't caught on to, especially when it comes to the news. When you see on the news someone posts a video, or even some of the celebrities that will post things on Twitter, the true and best way to record on your phone is actually not the vertical position, but it is the horizontal position or landscape position. And I'm going to show you a good example of this. I recorded this at the convention last year, and it just makes such a difference. So look at this first video clip, and it's just Adam Contos talking on the stage. And if you take that as itself, you're going to see a very narrow view of what's really going on. But when you look at the right view, I took this right after that. And this is, as you can see, it really gives you a whole much better position and a much better view. What you'll find too is on social media, by posting in the landscape position, it fills up the entire post a lot better, and you won't have those black bars on the side of it, which happens when you film vertically. So if you get nothing else out of this session, I'm going to implore you to please start recording all of your videos, not like this upright, but instead like this. So that's, in fact, you'll notice my video is actually in the landscape position too. I have an external webcam, but I think that's really important for you to understand. Of course, you got to be careful. You need to have fun, but you also need to be a professional. You're representing yourself in RE/MAX, and your reputation is everything. Be sure your videos aren't too long. In fact, really what's ideal, especially if you, let's say you have a teaser video of your listing, try to keep that under a minute. We know how people are, you know how you are, you won't tend to watch a longer video. If you are going to have longer videos, maybe save those for follow-up after the fact, or someone that expresses interest in your listing to say, hey, I'm glad you're interested. By the way, I have this longer video that'll show you even more details about the property, and maybe send them that. But to catch people's attention, you've got to keep it really short and sweet, especially with your video messages. Try to keep those around 30 seconds. One of the things that a lot of agents make mistakes on is they create all these videos, but then they don't know what to do with them. And that's okay. That's pretty normal, because, you know, it's a lot of work to do the videos, and then you're excited, and then the next thing is, now what? What do I do with them? So it's important that you have a promotional plan. Okay, I'm going to put these out on Facebook. I'm going to put a message with them. These are going to go on my website. I'm going to have a link on my email signature. I'm going to text this video to some of my buyers and get them excited about the community or new things that are happening. So just have a very strategic plan to promote your video. Bad lighting, this happens all the time. So don't ever sit in front of a window. It looks like you're getting interviewed on one of those news shows where you don't want to be seen or known. And just be careful when it comes to that. Lighting is everything. You cannot go back and redo this. This is a big mistake if this ends up happening. So no call to action. I mentioned that earlier. So what do you want people to do when they watch your video? You want them, like I said, you want them to subscribe to your YouTube channel. Do you want them to click on a link and go to a landing page and sign up for something or get a report? Or do you want them to reach out to you to get more information? And you saw in some of those videos I've been showing you that some of your peers have done that. They actually have their contact information. Brian from Minnesota talked about, hey, just hit the little bell. You'll get notifications about our channel and when we post new content. So let people know. People like to be told what to do, so tell them what the next step is. Just be authentic. As I said, it's super important that you just be yourself. Take yourself and just put it on camera. That's my best advice to you. I think that you'll really enjoy that. All right, so types of video, there's obviously quite a bit. Before you get into videos, especially if you're using subject matter such as other people, maybe consider a release form. I would check with your brokerage for the legalities of it, but you can probably find a very basic release form when it comes to video and photography. If you haven't already, you can find something on Google. Like I said, just have your broker owner, or if you have legal counsel, take a look at that to make sure. But it needs to be really clear what you're doing with this subject. So in other words, we're taking video, we're taking photography. It's going to be distributed. Where? It'll be distributed on social media, websites, so you have to get their permission if you're going to do this, go this route too. I know that with children it's very sensitive, so you have to be mindful of that. And obviously always have parents' permissions if you're going to go down that route. Just a general sort of, I guess, spontaneous or candid shot of something on social media that you post isn't necessarily where you have to chase people down and get a release form signed. But if you're going to do something more formal like testimonials or any type of formal interviews with people, you might want to do that. Of course, what else you can do on videos? You can do market updates, and why wouldn't you? But you can make them very interesting. So that's where you want to include graphics instead of you just standing in front of a whiteboard talking the whole time. Have some music, have some images that insert in, and just still educate people, and also use graphics like what you're seeing here. So some top video tools that are out there. Now, Facebook Live, hopefully all of you have gone live on Facebook for some reason or another. And in fact, like I said, what's going on in the world right now, everyone's doing video and showing properties. So maybe you're doing this already. So open houses are being done on Facebook Live with walkthrough tours by the listing agent. And it's important that you don't go live just to go live. The point of doing it is to bring someone an experience they might not have otherwise gotten. So maybe you're on vacation somewhere in some spectacular place and you just want to show the rest of your friends and followers what it is. Or maybe you're at an event where the Remax balloon is there. That's a great reason to have the Facebook Live footage going. So just make sure it's interesting, and you don't have to do it for a long time, but acknowledge the people that come and watch Facebook Live with you, because what happens is they pop in, you'll see who's watching. You can even call them out on the video and say hello. You can actually bring people in to be on a split screen with you. I mean, there's all kinds of advancements that have happened with Facebook Live. Here's some ideas if you're wondering, like, why would I go live? According to Katie Lance, who is a social media expert in the real estate world, she has provided this list. This is on her website. As you can see, katielance.com, but these are some good ideas of when you might want to go live. Obviously, you can make them based on the holidays. You can just give some tips on what to look for when you're choosing a lender or when you're choosing a real estate agent. So just giving free tips and education is a good reason to just go on and do something quickly on Facebook Live. Let's talk a little bit about Instagram videos. And these are obviously going to be short. In the preview window, when you're scrolling on your Instagram feed, they tend to be 60 seconds. They are allowing them to go longer now, which business pages a lot of times are doing. But what you want to do is just basically, again, same thing can be fun. But when you're using filters, which you can do on Instagram, just be mindful of how it's going to look on the other end. So when it comes to videos, I would say leave them in their natural state, especially if you did take the time to record them in high resolution. And then again, same thing, have that call to action. So let me show you a couple of Instagram videos from some of your peers that have been doing some good things. This first one is an agent in Indianapolis.
Hi guys, welcome to East Fishers, guys. My client's offer was just accepted on this beautiful home for $400,000. Gorgeous custom home on almost 3/4 of an acre. If you're looking to buy in Fishers, guys, I know the best properties for sale. I'd be happy to help you find a home, or if you're looking to sell your home, I'd be happy to talk to you about selling your East Fishers or Guys property. Thank you, and make sure to like and subscribe below. My name is Andrew Neal with Remax.
I like this one a lot. First of all, I'm sure you're all looking at that going, there's no way that home would be only $400,000 in Canada, but I know that. But, and even still, Andrew did a nice job of he sees the moment. So he just went to this house, or he just had an offer accepted, and he thought this is a great opportunity to really promote what's happening here. There's movement here, and he's promoting himself, and he's just letting people know that real estate is happening. So I think you did a nice job with this. Here's another one. This is an agent in Florida. A lot of you might know her from social media. Her name is Sue Pinky Benson. And she just happened to find something in the community that she wanted to feature. Let me go back.
Hey guys, it's me, Pinky of Pinky Knows Naples. And guess what? Look what I found. I found the Remax trolley right here in Naples, and you can take it around town this summer, fall, whatever. You guys have got to check it out. Isn't it amazing?
So she most likely what she did is she and her office took out an ad on actually the side of the trolley, and she's promoting that. So she did a nice job with that. Look at her views. You don't see views like this typically in real estate when it comes to Instagram. So she's done a nice job with that. Her name is Sue Pinky Benson. Let's talk a little bit about BombBomb. We can't talk about video without talking about BombBomb video email. Obviously very important, sending personal messages. No time than now has ever been more important to stay connected with clients, especially through video. Don't let them forget about you. Remind them that real estate is happening still, and we're gonna get through this. And even just give them just send them a nice personal note. I hope you and the family are doing well. Maybe you don't necessarily need to talk about real estate at first, because a lot of people there's uncertainty in the world, and I think it's a good opportunity for you to take advantage of this. It is a subscription. You do have to pay for it, and look into BombBomb.com to see what some of the pricing is, but mention you're with Remax INTEGRA, because we do have preferred pricing with BombBomb in that area. So just let them know you're with the Remax INTEGRA region. So again, so like I said, keep it quick and to the point though. When it comes to these videos, these video messages, try to keep them around 30 seconds. It's really the thought that counts. If you go on in a 2 or 3 minute message, unless it calls for that, or if it's a more detailed message needed, that's fine. But in most cases, if you're just looking to say hello, then keep it short. And you can do it straight from the BombBomb app on your phone. Use the tracking features. You can see the open rates. That's one of the best things about BombBomb is you can see when they open your email, when they click on your video, how many times they played it, and they have lots of help. So when would you use BombBomb? Maybe you have some non-responsive leads at this time, and the best way to introduce yourself is to put yourself on video, because you tend to text and email when you first get leads, and if they don't respond, the next step is you have nothing to lose. Just send them a video message and make it personal. Hey, here I am. I just wanted to introduce myself and would love to connect with you. Let me know what 3 things are most important to you, and just go that route. So here's some more scripts, which like I said, we'll get into those and I'll share those with you. I want to take make sure I have enough time to get through the real estate tech and apps too as well. So when it comes to promoting yourself on video, this is where you can create a YouTube channel trailer. When someone visits your YouTube channel, if they're not subscribed to your channel, this message would autoplay. So it basically is you introducing yourself and then telling them what they can expect by subscribing on your channel and what kind of content they're going to see. There's videos on YouTube on how to create and post a channel trailer. So welcome message for your website. That's another good thing. So if you on your home page, and you can post a video, whether it's on YouTube or embedded onto your website, just a nice little 30-second video welcoming people to your website and what they can expect to see there too. When it comes to your bio, telling your story, who you are, why you do what you do, and other things about you and your business, then there's no better way to say it than on video. You're going to type out your bio on a lot of different websites and profiles that you've set up across the industry, but you also should consider putting that on video too. And then LinkedIn. So that's something you might not be aware of. I'll show you in just a second, but LinkedIn, you can actually post a video on your profile. It's actually a YouTube link, but that's how that goes. Here's a sample script that you'll get a copy of on what you would say on a YouTube channel trailer. Hi, I'm with Remax. I'm inviting you into my world, and this is my channel and what you can expect. So you will get a copy of that. Here's a message for your website. Again, welcoming you to my website, isellhomes.ca, or whatever your particular website is. You're going to call that out and take a look and let me know how I can help you, or click contact me and I'll get a hold of you. Here's a sample script for the bio. So again, this is telling your story. Here's who I am. Here's why I love real estate. Here's why I do what I do. When I'm not working, I can be found doing hobbies or interests or things like that. So again, you'll get a copy of this for sure. Here's what I was talking about earlier on LinkedIn. You can actually, by the way, this is a really good illustration. Pay attention to this. One of the best I've seen when it comes to advising you on your LinkedIn profile. It's about doing a 3x3 summary. So 3 paragraphs with 3 sentences each. But one of the newest things you can do is add content to your actual media content to your profile. And that would be featured right here. So I'll show you what mine looks like. I have a video on my profile. So when you post it, so what it is, it'll say featured video. This is actually hosted on YouTube, but it's actually a video of me just introducing myself and what I do and welcoming people to my LinkedIn profile and thanking them for reading my LinkedIn profile. So that might be something you want to do too. I did also post a link to one of the webinars that I did last year. It was actually on video also, from our Learn to Earn online series. So you can post you can actually post a presentation. So this could be maybe a couple of slides on you and your business and the services that you offer, in addition to doing the video as well. So that's another great way to use video. We can't say enough about YouTube. We could do a whole entire segment just on YouTube, but in case you didn't know, it is the largest search engine, even surpassed Google, even though Google owns YouTube. This is where you can set up all kinds of videos for promotion, including you can set up what are called playlists. So like a lot of you have set up playlists with your music, you can actually set up playlists on your YouTube channel. So jot that down, where you can actually send people a link to your playlist, and it'll be a series of your videos that will play one right after the other. So check that out on YouTube on how to do that. When it comes to naming your videos, you should definitely include your name, if not in the title, then in the description of the video. And then when you're setting up your video, those are tags that people can search by. They can search by Remax, of course, include your brokerage name. They can also search by include the property address if this is a listing video that you're posting, and just post what it actually is. So client testimonial. Now remember, at the beginning, those of you that were on, our Minnesota agent Brian named his video "Moving to Minnesota," and there's nothing listed here in there. It doesn't have his name, it doesn't have Remax. Now in the description or in the Unhonest channel, it's very obvious he's with Remax and he's a real estate agent. But moving to Minnesota, just those words, he tagged his video with phrases like move to Minnesota or want to move to Minnesota. So he tagged it with a lot of different series so that when someone typed into YouTube search that they wanted to do some research to find out what it was like to move to Minnesota, his video showed up and he got a lot of engagement. So what are some other ideas you could put on your channel? I know that's one of the things you all probably are challenged with, because that's half the battle is just coming up with ideas. You could just do a really fun video. Hey, here's a day in the life of a realtor. Here's a day in the life of a broker. Here's the day in the life of a real estate professional. And, obviously you can take it in different segments. You can tell funny stories. Obviously you're not going to use people's names, and don't talk about your bad days or you're really mad at someone or you had a very difficult or challenging client. That's not a good idea. You don't want to vent. Don't ever do that. Here's some other ideas. 3 books that you recommend, whether they're business or life or fiction or whatever they are. You can talk about people you admire. Just free tips in general people love. And, you can never say enough about home improvement and different things you can do to add value to the home. So here's a sample script of what you might do. Hey, I often find myself in this role with the people I work with. Here's what I learned from my clients today. And always keep it positive. Like I said, even if it is a challenging day, just say that today there were some obstacles that I ran into with some clients that I didn't expect, but I learned so much from every experience that I have. And here's what I learned today. I learned patience. I learned kindness. I learned to be understanding and understand the other side of the situation, or just knowing that the best things in life always come with challenges. So I'm getting really philosophical on you right now. 3 books I recommend. Again, you're going to get all these slides. You're going to get these scripts. These are just some ideas and ways to get you started. And by the way, don't memorize these. Well, you should memorize them, but then you should be pretty well versed and speak very naturally to this. One of the things that you may not have noticed, or maybe you did, is that I'm looking directly into the camera. I'm trying my very best to smile and talk at the same time. It's not as easy as you think it is, but actually my computer screen is right below. I have an external webcam, so I have the external webcam right up here, and I'm down here looking at the slides, but I'm going back and forth, making sure that I'm looking directly at you, the audience. That's the key when it comes to video. So on your phone, you don't ever want to be looking at yourself, because if you are, your eyes will be down like this. You want to look directly into the camera that's on the mobile device, okay? So then you'll know. So let's talk about some last minute video tools. We'll get into the tech and apps and wrap up. When it comes to using equipment, you obviously can use a lot of different means. I personally have a GoPro, I have a camcorder, I have a smartphone. There's tripods for all of that. Some of you might have tried out the stabilizers, where you can create smooth video just by walking through one of your properties, one of your listings, with different stabilizers. They're weighted wands basically, and they balance your phone out for you and help you create smooth video. So there's lots of options there. And then there's lots of editing software. So I always like to recommend, if you just want to get started and you want to have just some very basic tools, then you can just buy relatively inexpensive anywhere, is a smartphone tripod. This one I have, and it's actually flexible, as you can see, per the legs. And it's nice because you can wrap this around your steering wheel. You can put this on top of your computer, a tree branch, and you can take it pretty much anywhere you want to go, and it will record your video. It also has a remote control with it. The remote control is Bluetooth. Is that a word? It's Bluetooth connected to your phone, and it will actually controls the recorder. So then no one sees your hand is down here. So if I was recording this right now, I would just press the button and I'd smile and talk, and then keep smiling, and then I'd press the same button to turn it off. So then I get a nice smooth video, and people don't see your arm going like this to turn off the video. So I really like to recommend these for sure. This one, I have this one also. So this one's more stationary. It's not as tall as the other one, and you're not going to be able to use it just anywhere. But this will sit nicely on a desktop, or you can set this on a table or on top of the fridge if you're taller, and you can just record yourself that way. It also has the remote control. And this was from a while back, but generally speaking, you can find these for $20 or less in both US and Canada. So when it comes to editing, I know a lot of you are very intimidated by that. I would encourage you to outsource some of your bigger projects. You don't have time to be learning. Editing takes a long time. I know how to do editing, but I wouldn't call myself an expert. I just taught myself. And it took years, to be honest. It takes a long time to really get the hang of it. And the best way to learn editing is to sit next to someone that knows how to edit, preferably a professional, and just watch them and have them educate you that way. But try not to take on too much yourself. There are some free apps. Splice is one. If you're using GoPro, it has its own editing app. Of course, as I mentioned, YouTube has an editor built in that's basic, but it really works. And I personally use Camtasia, which I use for screen capture, recording tutorial videos, and just editing different projects. And Jing is actually something you should all look into, Jing Project by TechSmith. It's where you can actually do screen captures. You can add labels to them. You can also do video screen captures, just like you can with some of these others. So when it comes to video, like I said, just hit the record button, use tools to create and promote your video. That's really important. And just make sure you're just putting some good, impactful content out there. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be super long videos, but you just have to practice. So it's just really good. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the tech and apps that I want to share with you, because I know we're running out of time here. And hopefully you're enjoying this. I'm glad to have all of you here with me today. For those of you that missed the first part of it, we are recording this and you'll be able to see what's happening from there. So I'm going to jump into here and just show you, this is sort of a recap of real estate tech and apps that I did this past year. And I'm sure you're going to learn something for sure. So let's take a look at this. When it comes to real estate tech and apps, first of all, it can be really overwhelming. I understand that for sure. And I teach it and it gets overwhelming for me. I can't believe as soon as I'm teaching you one thing, something else new comes out or something gets updated. So it becomes very challenging. So with respect to that, this is what I'm going to cover when it comes to technology. Let me just check really quick. I think I saw a question come in. Let's go to... Yes, Marcia. So you will get a copy of the slides. Any of you that are on here today, you will get a copy of the slides and you'll get a copy of the recording in the next hour or so. So thanks. So I'm just going to wrap up with this. What I want you to think about is categorizing your technology so that it doesn't become too much for you. And what I did here is to pay attention to these colors, because it's going to make more sense as I get further in and show you a slide where it's going to all make sense. But these are 4 categories how you can break apart your technology and help you just stay organized. So what you're going to do is we're going to start with prospecting. So this is how do you generate business. One of the things I cannot say enough about is Google My Business Profile. If you've never claimed your Google My Business Profile, now is the time to do it. This is something that you need to do right away. And the reason is because when people search for you, when you have a Google My Business Profile, you're going to be favored if you have a complete profile. It's one of the most well-kept secrets in our industry and really virtually any small business industry, but you deserve to have that profile. In fact, write that down because you can go to YouTube and it'll have all kinds of tutorial videos on how to set it up. Now, what does this mean when it comes to Google My Business? Now, you can feature reviews. It's a whole profile that you can set up. And for those of you that are, if you're a broker owner on this webinar or manager, you can do this for your office as well if you haven't done so. Here's how it really comes into play. When someone types in, like I'm going to use this as an example. I went over to in Peoria, Illinois, which is downstate for me. I'm in Chicago. And what I did is I just typed in real estate agents in Peoria, Illinois. I was just curious to see what showed up. What showed up, which I was really excited about, is now I have to admit at the very top were some of the big players we have in the US, like Realtor.com, Zillow, et cetera. And you're going to have the same thing in Canada. Those are tech portals. Okay, those aren't real estate companies. I'm a consumer looking to connect with an actual real estate agent. I don't care about that. So as I looked right down the middle of the page, the Rogers Real Estate Group, which is a team, and then also Marilyn Cohn, both with the same RE/MAX brokerage showed up front and center very first. And take a look at what's happening here. So the Rogers Real Estate Group, this is their Google My Business profile. They have 134 reviews on their Google My Business profile. Then Maryland has 27. The next closest agent to them was a Coldwell Banker agent that I think had 3. But after that, there was nobody. So Google favors the profiles that actually have reviews written on them. So here's a mobile view of what that looks like. You can actually share your Google My Business profile with other people. You can actually share the link where they can write a review for you. Here's the thing about your Google reviews is that anyone can write a review for you. This is not assigned to a specific role like a seller or a buyer. This could be your preferred partners. This could be people you've just other small business owners you know in the community. Excuse me. This can be virtually anyone. But as you can see, it really carries a lot of weight. So when someone Googles this person, they really show up. So here's another snapshot of what was happening. So when it comes to the Rogers Group, I actually reached out to, his name is Scott Rogers. I reached out to him. I said, hey, I'm just curious, how are you getting so many reviews? They actually send 4 emails to their clients. 2 of them are before the closing and 2 are after, just reminding them, asking again, and they make it easy for people. In the email, there's a link that says, click here to review us on Google and click here to review us on Facebook. And I think they have one for Zillow here. But at the same time, like I said, people will do it if you make it easy for them, and you do have to remind them. So it's okay to ask more than once. But it's important that you keep them current. So see, in this case, this person actually typed a review for this particular team, and the response was done immediately. So it does look bad if someone writes a really nice review, or bad, I guess, as well, and it says it was written 5 months ago and your response was last week. That doesn't fare well for you and your business and your professionalism. So just make sure you're responding immediately. So your Google My Business mobile profile looks like this. Here's a resource center for you to call. There's actually a whole support center for Google My Business. Yes, they're probably going to try to sell you things. I don't know. I've never called it, but it is a free support line from Monday through Friday. There's also a YouTube channel, Google for Small Business, you should subscribe to, because you can learn a lot about it. And there's a Google My Business app. So once you set up your profile on Google that looks like this, then you'll have an app that you can go in and manage your profile from there. So one of the things I want to give you the best recommendation on when it comes to creating search terms that are going to really be impactful for you, or naming things like pages on your website. One of the things that you can use is the tool called Google Trends. If you don't know what Google Trends is, Google Trends, and you will find that this is a comparison tool that you can use to see what are the most popular search terms that people are using right now on Google, or basically within a certain time frame. When you first do it, it's going to give you the results for the whole country, but you want to narrow it down to your city by clicking where that red box is actually highlighted. So that's important. So what I did just for fun, I compared, and I was just using Indianapolis as an example, real estate to realtors to real estate agents, excuse me, to homes for sale. Notice what's at the very top. In the green is homes for sale. So if knowing that that's a trend and that's most popular in my city, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my website and make sure I use homes for sale a lot, especially on my homepage. And this is a good example of where in our business, we tend to use sort of inside real estate terms like listings. Consumers don't sit around and say, I'm going to go look up listings. And I think sometimes we forget about that. They're going to say, I want to see what homes are for sale. So we have to think and speak and even market ourselves to what the consumer might actually be thinking. So again, that's called Google Trends. Important that you are doing this across the board is to make sure you are updating all of your logos and all of your branding. It's been 2.5 years since we made the switch over. I know it gets expensive, but really start taking the time. There's no excuses on digital to not update. So you can definitely do that. Make sure you're spelling RE/MAX in all caps and a slash. That's how the brand is. And then you can find all these logos on remaxmarketing.com. There's a portal there. You can find it in your you know where you're accessing all of your RE/MAX tools, Launchpad and other places. So the new RE/MAX stickers have been out for some time. If you haven't done so already, you can go to our help center, which is maxhelpsyou.com, and there's actually articles on there, tutorials on how to install these stickers. So these are some fun emojis. They're animated when you text them. When you save them to your phone, they are just still images, but when you text them, they are animated, and you can have fun with your clients and do it that way. So this is it. So Photify is another option. So if you want to sign up for Photify, it's free for 90 days, and then it's $4 a month US. I'm not sure what the translation is, Canada. You'll know better than me. But you will have an opportunity to set up Photify, and this is an actual photo editing app where you can take your listing photos, and all the Remax graphics are already in the library inside Photify. So you don't have to add them. They're all there for you to choose from and use and promote your business. You'll see a lot of your fellow peers will be putting all kinds of Photify items on social media, just saying just sold or just listed, and you can really enjoy that. Okay, so let's talk about productivity. And on productivity, when it comes to technology, you know, what are some of the tasks that are out there? So we've got Pocket Expense is one of the tools that's available when it comes to personal finance. And you can use this, and it really works well when it comes to just staying organized. Expensify is another one that's been around with tools. And then this one, Mint, has been rated by one of the top budgeting apps in Canada. So if you want to look into Mint, this will help you to stay organized. You can keep track of all the different things you're doing, mileage, etc. On the Google Calendar, so with respect to this, see the color coding, because we talked about this at the beginning of this. We actually have on here, we have the color coding. So prospecting is in green for a reason, because of money, and then productivity. But it's really important that you are segmenting and setting up your day based upon your activities. So client care, productivity, self-development, it's all here. And then really important that you're utilizing the Google Suite as best you can. And cloud storage. So if you're not utilizing these type of items, you know, Google Drive is free up to a certain size, so is Dropbox. And for Microsoft users, it's that. This is a photo editing program. If you really want to get into photo editing and do something a little more advanced for around $60 US, you can use LumaFusion. It's a much more inexpensive version than Photoshop. And then Splice. Splice is one that I mentioned earlier, where you can do some video editing, and there are some free or basic versions, and then there's also some advanced. Luminar is another one for video editing by Skylum. This is a $60 one-time fee that you can also do with photo editing. Client care, just make sure that you're using the tools that are in front of you, like calendars and reminders and all of that. Sortly is an app that is something that you can use to recommend to your clients when it comes to moving. They can actually print. What they do is they inventory the boxes. As you know, you're always losing things when you move, so they can inventory the boxes, type into the app what's in that actual box, and print a label off of this app with their printer, of course, and then they can put a label right on that box that will tell them the contents of that box. So it's a great tool that you can recommend to your clients. Around Me is another one. So a lot of your clients come to you, especially if they're from out of the area and they're looking for great restaurants. You can actually recommend they download Around Me. This works in both the US and Canada, where they can actually have access to these tools. And then finally, just tools and tech that you can use in self-development you can obviously go to Remax University. You see a lot of tools and resources there. There are podcasts. So we have maxhelpsyou.com. Will be there to support you in all of your technology needs. Podcast from Adam Contos, our CEO, is called Start with a Win. So definitely subscribe to that. These are all things you can do in your car. Katie Lance is really good at real estate social media. And then once again, if you want to categorize your technology, or if you want to build a schedule for technology, then what tools and apps are you going to use in those main categories, this is the way to go. And finally, these are the takeaways. So it's important that you don't let technology take control of you. It should be the other way around. Make sure you're working within some of those main categories like we talked about. And of course, just try not to be too much of a specialist in one. You're going to have to be a generalist in others. And, I I apologize that for those of you where there's a time mix up, I had this down for 1 Eastern. Seems that a lot of you had 2 Eastern. So this was recorded. Yes, I will share the slides, and I do appreciate your time. So thank you so, so much, and I appreciate it, and I hope you're all doing really well and stay safe and healthy out there. Thank you.